via YouTube streaming, via Facebook streaming, and also via Skype online. Each one of you is welcome to this live streaming. Each one of you is welcome to this live streaming. Earlier I spoke on 5 sense organs. Now the question arises, how to shift attention from 5 sense organs to 1. In Japji Sahib, the message of Guru Nanak, he has explained this very beautifully. He says, Panch Parvan, Panch Pradhan. Parvan means messages, Pradhan means who is the chief of the village councillor. Panche Pavai Dargai Man, Panche Sohidar Rajan, Pancha Ka Guru Ek Dhyan. There are 5 messages that comes from the 5 sense organs. 5 are the managers or the chief. In a village, when there is a village council, there is a head of that. So there are 5 heads also. Panche Pavai Dargai Man continues, Pancha Ka Guru Ek Dhyan. Try to understand this, how to move from 5 to 1. If you are scattered amidst these 5 sense organs and 5 organs of action or reception, you are lost along the way. Those who are watching this live streaming via Facebook or YouTube, you are seeing the face of the person who is speaking, and you are hearing, so your eyes are in operation, in use, and your ears, through the ears, the sound wave reaches you. There is no doubt in your mind that the person that you are seeing on the screen is the one who is speaking. If there is a conflict between these 2 sense organs, and you hear a voice that says the person that I know this person, the person that you are seeing on the screen is not the one speaking. You are scattered, and this is how we are. What we see is different than what we hear, and that is how we are split amidst the sense organs. If you are split, scattered amidst these 5 sense organs, the organs of perception and organs of action, you are lost along the way. If you have understood the one, that it's common in all these, then you have arrived home. Now, how does it? Let us take an example of a business organization. The business organization wants to expand the business in a particular, let's say they expand the business. What the managing director will do, he will call the meeting of the board of directors, present his proposal to him that we want to expand the business along these lines. So the board of directors will decide, yes, this seems to be good, we should proceed. How will they proceed? First and the foremost thing is a feasible study will be done. He will call all the stakeholders. In every organization, there is a property management, there is HR department, and so on and so forth. So what is important? The market survey and all these things. Let's not go into detail of that. Let's say there are 5 different departments that has to present their reports to the managing director. The reports are being presented by different departments, and it is the managing director who coordinates the report of all that. There is availability of the raw material, there is availability of because the raw material is important. Where is the market? Is the market available? What is the cost of operation? And the access to the market locally and internationally. Depending on the organization, it cannot rely only on the local market, but it has to look for the distant market as well, which in the modern terminology we call the export market, the internal market and the export market. Because a certain market gets saturated after some time. So the report comes in, the managing director coordinates the activities of that, and then he prepares his own report. Again, a meeting of the board of directors. Some of them may be active, some may not be active. The board of directors have decided and given the authority to one who acts as a managing director. Who is this managing director? In spiritual terminology, the managing director is nothing else but your meditation, your dhyan. The eyes bring their report, the ears bring their report, the nose bring their report, the touch, the skin brings its report, and all these reports are placed on the table. That is a meditative table where the faculty of meditation coordinates the act as the managing director coordinates the activities of all the stakeholders, and then it decides at one point. When you are influenced by, you are listening to me, but you are influenced how you get deviated. You are seeing me, you are hearing me, and you agree to some extent, but you do not agree completely because there are outer influences. The outer influence is your conditioning, your scriptures. When I started my talks, the people from the Sufi path came to attend to these sessions when I spoke on Sufi path. The people from the Sikh faith did not come. Even when I go to Gurdwara, they give me the instruction beforehand that do not speak within the framework of Sikh religion, do not go outside that. So these are the influences which will influence you. But there are certain people, to them it does not matter what I am speaking about, Their only interest is I am speaking. So they are connected through the silence that these words create within you. Their only concern is that, and they are not bothered whether I am speaking on this, that, or anything else. So if you are scattered amidst these 5 sense organs, I says yes, I am seeing the person. But someone says that the voice that you are hearing is not of this person who is speaking, although you are seeing the lip movements. But the outside influence says there is a process called dubbing of the voice. Many times the actors cannot speak the language, but the one who dubs the voice, he almost creates the voice as if this person is speaking. That is how we have the children movies and the animated movies where the sound of different animals and all these things. The Sesame Street production of Walt Disney is one of that example. You are scattered amidst the organs of action and organs of perception. Eyes is the organ of perception. I see something, then you respond, and ears bring the sound waves, and you respond through the vocal cord. And if you understand the one that coordinates the activities of all these organs of action or organs of perception first, then it instructs whichever department, like as the managing director got the report from the different departments, he reviews everybody's report, and then he calls the meeting of all the stakeholders and says that the project seems to be viable. First we locate the location where we want to set up this plant. So that will start. That is the organ of action. The organ of perception was the one, that department that looked at the feasibility study, whether this is feasible in this area or not. So eyes brought the information as an organ of perception, and when the information is confirmed, it says, it directs the organ of action, vocal cord, to say thank you. Thank you for this beautiful talk. Now, seeing a woman grinding the stone wheel. What is that stone wheel? In India, long time, there was a grinding stone, 2 stones placed on one another. There is a little spout in the middle of the top one to pour the grains to grind, and on the top disc there is a hole where a handle is fixed in form of a standing wooden handle. You hold this and rotate. Based on that, the same principle was used for milling the wheat. For milling the wheat, it is now electrical process, a motor. So 2 upright stones, heavy stones, are placed in a metal casing facing one another. For grinding, the inner side of the 2 stones need to have the teeth or some kind of a engraving, the coarse surface. Just as for having the proper grip on the road, your tire has grooves. And when the tire gets smooth, it does not have a firm grip on the road, and that's where you have to change. The same way, any stone or anything that rotates on its axle on the road or anything that needs to have the groove, and it is connected through a motor and a strip so that the motor runs and makes the wheel move. The grinding stones move, and on top there is a big funnel where the wheat is placed, and it keeps on pouring into the between the stones, and it is grind. So this is one of the Kabir's composition. Chalti chakki dekh diya Kabira roye. Seeing the grinding wheels, Kabir laments. Seeing a woman using the grinding stone wheels, Kabir recited the couplet. The couplet meant, seeing the two grinding stones, Kabir is saddened. And he said, nothing can escape the grinding wheel. Whatsoever falls inside the groove gets grind. First, let's say there it is wheat or a Bengal gram or chickpeas. It gets split into two, and when you continue to use the grinding stone rotating, it grinds into a powder, coarse and then fine. Nothing can really escape the grinding wheel. Such is the nature of duality, Kabir says. Kabir used very simple examples from around the environment, and his observation was so keen. You would see a woman using the grinding wheel, the chakki. Nothing will happen to you. If you are inquisitive and you are introspective with a keen vision, that is the vision of a scientist who sees an ordinary event, introspects behind it, and makes the greatest discoveries. It is not said, it is true about Albert Einstein. He was always shabbily dressed, who always wore oversized clothes, shoes always without socks, hair not made. He used to take 6 to 8 hours in his bathroom. And you will find it is strange. Some people take the bird bath, but Albert Einstein used to spend 6 to 8 hours in his bathtub. When he will sit down in his bathtub, and he uses the soap, the soap that is used for the bathtub. The soap bubbles are formed, and these soap bubbles in the water is moving in the bathtub, and the soap bubbles are forming one after the other. One forms, next one dissolves. This is the process. As sometimes we play in the soap, in the bathtub, the soap bubbles keeps on forming and dissolving. This is such a simple happening, but to Albert Einstein this was galaxy, and that's where most of his research took place, in the bathtub. Similar was the case with Archimedes when he discovered the principle of buoyancy, the floating bodies. So Kabir has a keen perception. He saw a woman, a village woman, a simple, ordinary woman, grinding the wheat or whatever grain she may need for the maintenance of her family, grinding. Grains are poured from the spout on top of the top layer of the stone, and in the center of the bottom stone there is an axle. Inside the axle, on top of the axle, the other piece of the stone is placed. Sometimes these are fixed, other times it is movable. He says nothing can really escape the grinding wheel. Such is the nature of duality. If you fall between the duality, this or that, it is very difficult to make a decision. You are thirsty. You go to a shop to buy something. You see many things displayed in the chiller or the place where you have gone to the shop. Pepsi, Coke, water, juices, different type of juices, natural, artificial. It becomes difficult to decide whether to take Coke or Pepsi or water. Coke have a kind of its own taste. Water is tasteless. Juice, now the mind says Coke really tastes good. It has a fizz in it. But the fizz is in orange juice also, which is bottled, which is carbonated water with orange flavor or pineapple flavor. Then there are certain concentrated juices, certain drinks made out of orange drink, pineapple drink. Then there is Pepsi Cola. So you feel that yes, this orange juice has also fizz. Pepsi has a fizz also. And water is insipid, tasteless. Which one should I buy? When for such a simple things you are not able to make a decision, how can you make the decision when there is a duality? Kabir explains to his disciples. His son Kamal asked Kabir to say something about the one that is in the middle of the pair of the grinding wheel. Some of the grains get stick to the axle on which rests the top stone or the grinding wheel. The axle is fixed on the bottom part of the wheel, grinding stone, and the other is movable, because after that, when this has to be cleaned, the one that is the bottom is fixed, it cannot move. The other one, which is on top, that is removed. If the grooves have to be made again, it is done. It is cleaned from changing from one grain to another. So some of these, when you are cleaning, you will find get stuck to the axle. So his son Kamal, his name was Kamal. Kamal means wonder, achamba, surprise. So he asked a question. Father says something about those that when the grain falls between the two stones and get stuck to the axle. चलती चक्की देख दिया कबीरा रोए, दुई पाटन के बीच मां साबित बचा न कोई. Then when Kamal asked, then Kabir wrote another couplet. जो रहे कील सहारे सो कैसे पिस जाए. Those who takes the shelter of the axle, how can they be between the grinding wheel of the two stones? Ordinary event, two grinding wheels. A simple village woman is grinding the grains for the sustenance of her family. Kabir sees it, imagines, because he has seen many times. He comes from that environment, from that humble environment. Sees it. चलती चक्की देख कर दिया कबीरा रोए, दुई पाटन के बीच माँ साबित बचा न कोई, जो रहे कील सहारे सो कैसे पिस जाए. When you are between the grinding wheels, the two stones of the grinding wheel, how can you escape not being crushed? But those who remain stuck to the axle can never be grind. However, that which holds on to the axle remains safe and therefore does not get crushed. This is a simple incident. For Kabir first narrates the incident and then goes into the mystical meaning of it. Then it matters not whether the number you use 2, 3, 4, 5 and 9. Now you look at the pyramid. On top of the pyramid there are 3 doors. Those who are Christians, you would have seen the painting of Leonardo da Vinci of Last Supper. Jesus is in the middle and 6 apostles is sitting on the left and 6 on the right. And on top of the painting in the ceiling, there are 6 rectangular spaces, 6 rows and 6 columns, 36. Behind the painting on the wall, there are 3 doors, one in the middle, in front of which Jesus is sitting, one to the left and one to the right. This is mystical. 3 doors, multiples of 3, which is very important. The middle door is wider and the left and the right doors are of the same dimension. The left door represents the past which is no more. So 6 disciples are lost in the past. 6 disciples are lost in the future. You are worried about the future. Jesus is the only one who is sitting in front of the middle door, which is wider, which represents the present. The past is no more, the present is no more. In a particular place in India, there is a rock. And a lonely place is a big rock. That is a rock temple. I have put the link of this on my Facebook page. It has, when you go behind, you see the 3 doors. The middle one, wider, left and the right are of the same dimension. Now you look at the painting of Leonardo da Vinci, The Last Supper. There is a gap between the apostles, disciples sitting on the left and sitting on the right, and between the Jesus. At least one person could sit between the disciples on the left and Jesus, and disciples on the right and Jesus. Look at the painting. Behind that there are 3 doors. Jesus is in front of the middle, 6 are in front of the left and 6 in front of the right. In mysticism, we use the numbers 3, 1 is 1, there is 1. When 1 gets divided into 2, but the 3 is the most, the Father, Son and the Holy Ghost. Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram, truth, beauty, and the beauty is truth. And beauty is eternal. Satyam, beauty. Shivam, eternal. And Sundaram is beauty. Then there is another way of saying Sat Chit Anand. Sat is truth, Chit is consciousness, and Anand is the bliss. If you live by truth and truth becomes your way, the bliss is the outcome. We have a 3-letter word. It is said in the Bible, it was in the beginning there was God and God. In the beginning there was a word and word was God and it was with God. Something like this. Now G, what does it signify? G signifies generator. O signifies operator. And D signifies destroyer. These are the 3 roles. Something is to be created, generated, then it has to operate. So there is another department that operates it, takes care of the operation of that which has been created. A plant is set up, so the department that sets up the plant is one. Even in ordinary organization, a plan is set up by a certain committee, certain group of the people. Then the execution of that is given the responsibility to the other, and the last is the destroyer. G-O-D, 3 functions. Generator, operator, and destroyer. Now you reverse this process. G-O-D. Take D is the last but O is the middle. G is the first letter, D is the last letter, O is in the middle. Now dog. D is the first letter, that which was on the right becomes the left and the one that is on the left becomes the right. But the center remains the same, dog. Dog and God are synonyms. When you are going in the wrong direction, you are dog. When the process of transformation has begun, you are moving towards godliness. So number does not matter according to numerology. 9 is considered to be the perfect number, and 7 is the mystical number. 10 is not a number, but that is infinite. 8 is infinite. After 10, the repeat process starts. 1 and plus 1. 10 plus 1, 10 plus 2. So 10 represents the infinite. Accordingly, when Indians do the Ganesha Utsav in the month of August, September, when they learn for 9 days, and Ganesh is symbolic of learning, wisdom, because it is said when Vedavyas was sitting in meditation, he saw a vision before he composed Mahabharata and Bhagavad Gita. He saw a vision. But when he came out of the meditation, he forgot that. Sometimes it happens, you dream something unusual, and when it is time to come for you to write it down for your remembrance, you realize that you cannot pen it down. So next day again, when you sat in meditation, a similar incident happened. Something like that happened with Holy Prophet as well when he was in deep meditation. He saw a vision. Then he prayed, if this vision be so important, give me the capability or find me someone who can, as I am seeing the vision, I will narrate it, and someone should be a fast writer or a stenographer could write it. Long time we had the concept of a stenographer or the secretary who knew the art of taking the notes. And then takes the notes and symbols and then converts into the language and presents, but now the process is different. So Ganesh appears at his scribe. Ganesh said, I have one problem. I am a very fast writer. You have to continue to speak uninterrupted, because if any time you stop speaking or narrating, I will leave. That was the greatest difficulty for Vedavyas. He said, there is one thing, I agree with that. But there is one thing, whatever I say, whatever I narrate to you, introspect over it and then write. So Vedavyas was even a greater intelligence. He told Ganesh that you should introspect what I say to you and then write. So the process, so Ganesh did not leave. Vedavyas continued to give his vision and he continued to write. So during this festival, which is in Maharashtra, it is celebrated with great fervor. Now it has become a fad in various cities of the world where there is there is a Hindu population in the temples, and so they celebrate Ganesh Utsav, which is a 10-day festival. 9 days the stories of Ganesh are narrated. On 10th, and the statue Ganesh idol is prepared, and for 10 days, 9 days it is kept there, and discourses and all these continue. On the 10th day it is submerged in the water. What does this signify? You learn for 9 days, and on the 10th day you dissolve whatsoever you learn, you dissolve into the unknown and unknowable. What is the significance of this? Why do Hindus do all these kind of crazy things? You spend the money, do all this, and then submerge into the water, ocean or something. In Zen meditation, it is said you are learning something, and whatever you are learning, it is the physical process of learning. You cram, you memorize. The present system of education is memory based. It is memory based, not based on intelligence. So it happens there, you memorize the answers and you write the answers to the questions that are presented to you during the examination. Zen says you learn something archery for 1 year. You learn the nuances of it. You learn the technical aspects and everything, and then you leave it for the same amount of time. Then it is sinking into you, and then when after one same amount you learn it for 5 years, you left it for 5 years, when you come back, return to it, it will not be mechanical process, it will be a natural process arising out of you. For that very reason, when for 9 days you learn, every day you took part of the sermon of the Ganesh Utsav, and then on the 10th day you submerged this idol of Ganesh into the water, symbolizing, Ganesh is symbolized of knowledge. Whatsoever knowledge you gained, it is symbolic. You gained the knowledge for 9 days. 10th day you submerge into the water. You return to 0, 1, and then it will emerge out of your own, and that is not memory based. It is based on awareness. I am speaking to you. It is not memory based. I have 3 screens open in front of me. One is my MacBook screen, through which I am connected to Skype. Then my iPad is open, through which I am connected to YouTube, and a direct recording is being done, as well as live streaming is happening through YouTube. And on my iPhone I am connected to Facebook. So those who are watching me on Facebook, they get the direct streaming via the iPhone. Those who are watching me via YouTube, they are watching through the screen of iPad. The speaker is there, which is connected to the YouTube, the iPad, and it is recording. This is this entire the studio system. But Skype, the video is not available, only the sound waves are reaching those who are connected via Skype, because the live streaming is free. Live streaming via YouTube is free. Live streaming via Skype is free, but Skype, when you take the video, there is a cost involved. One-to-one is no problem. You can do the teleconference on Skype between one or two people. When there are more than 10, then there is a charge for it. So I did not go into that. So I am speaking out of awareness. So it does not matter whether you use the number 2, the first, there is a seed. The seed is 2, it is 2 joined together. When it is planted in the womb of the earth, whatsoever be the seed, whether it is a vegetable seed or a wheat or a chickpeas or a Bengal gram or anything else, it is 2 connected into 1. When the process of germination begins, 1 gets divided into 2. Then the process continues. The 2 is split into one another. Out of that, the seed sprouts. On the seed, myriads of flowers, petals come. 2 gets divided into 3, 3 into 4. I can go on and explain to you how 2 gets divided into 3, Satyam Shivam Sundaram, truth, awareness and consciousness. It gets divided into 4. The table that is you are using has 4 legs. It provides the firmness to the table. You does not need to be very technical to use 4 legs. Almost everything that you see has 4 legs. Then there is a tripod stand. The stand to which the iPhone is connected is a tripod. In a tripod, when the 3 legs are placed at 60-degree angle, because for firmness, the total angle should be 180 degrees. When it is 180 degrees, it is firm and isosceles triangle, where all the 3 angles are of the same 60 degrees. Then it is firm. But if the legs are not, the tripod stand, the legs are not placed at 60-degree angle, it cannot stand firm. All the stands, the camera stand, the television, the camera stand, the telescope stand, They are all tripod stands. Table is 4, the chair is 4 beams. Then 4 gets divided into 5 sense organs. 5 organs of action, or 9, 6, 3, when you take this symbol, 3 sides of a triangle, that is when you look at, make the sign of 8, infinite, through a triangle. Out of this comes the Pythagoras theorem. The top, it is the triangle like this, and underneath the triangle comes up like this. The point is lower at the bottom, and the top triangle has the point on top. 9 is a multiple of 3. 3, 6, 9 makes a multiple, is a combination. This is because of the numerology. It does not matter whether you use the number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 or 9. You can give any name to deviation. However, the destination is one. From 9, you have 4 legs, but 4 legs are meaningless unless there is a countertop. The tripod, the 3 legs of a tripod stand is meaningless unless there is something. The stand to which the iPhone is connected, there is 3 legs, then there is a rod on which there is something that connects, where you can hold on to the iPhone or iPad or whatsoever it is. Whether you use 3, it must have something top, the oneness. Table without the 4 legs cannot stand on their own. You can make a frame. First, a frame is made with 4 legs. Then when the frame is ready, then for table to complete and to be ready for operation, we use countertop. Without the countertop, it is not called table. 4, it is important. From 4 you have to come to 1. From 2 you have to come to 1. You have 2 legs, 2 hands. You can take the 2 hands and sit down like that. But 2 hands put together becomes a mark of salutation, mark of welcome. This hand, no. This hand, no. When the two energies merge together. However, the destination is always one. Depending on your deviation, your path will be determined. When the oneness got divided into 2, then your paths will certainly differ from those whose oneness got lost amidst the 5, the sense organs. Nanak explains the methodology. I thought in one session I can complete how the methodology to go beyond the 5, but it seems it cannot. It continues. And it will continue in the subsequent sessions. If you find this talk is interesting, I send you an open invitation. You can join me next Saturday between the hours of 6 and 7 Eastern Time. Eastern Time is New York time. The time we are living in different time zones connected together. Indian Standard Time, it is between 3:30 and 4:30. European time is different. You can go to the world clock and use your time as the base time. Your Indian Standard Time or European time, use it as a base time, and then you can connect to the other clocks. You will know when in India it is 3:30 in the afternoon, what will be the time, what will be the Eastern time. New York, in America, in India there is only one standard time known as Indian Standard Time. In Europe there is a common time, except the United Kingdom has a different time, which is Greenwich Mean Time, GMT. Entire Europe has one time zone. Australia has a different time zone, which is a difference. The Middle East has a different time zone. So when you take the clock, you on your iPad, iPhone, or any device, you go into you will know what will be the time. Like in Trinidad, where I speak from, where my studio is, where I am residing, is an island in the Caribbean. It is 6:52 in the morning. I cannot go back to the clock. It would be in Indian Standard Time, it would be between 3:30 and 4:30 somewhere. So by that you will know every Saturday morning Eastern Time between 6 and 7 you can connect to this live streaming, and Sunday morning. And from time to time I keep on posting many messages, picture posts on my Facebook timeline and other groups, which is Taoshobuddha International, Nisbate Naqshbandi, Taoshobuddha Live, and other groups that are connected to us, like Karma, Sahitya Sangam, Ramashram Satsang, Lalaji, the Master Mission and Method, and so on and so forth. So until then, take care and do have a pleasant day. We will continue this in subsequent sessions.